Most men believe respect is earned by holding on tight, chasing relentlessly, proving their worth, and refusing to let go. They think if they fight hard enough, love will stay. But the truth hits harder. Sometimes, a woman's respect begins the moment you stop chasing, the moment you let her walk away without resistance, the moment you choose yourself, not out of bitterness, but out of clarity. Stoic philosophy teaches that self-respect is non-negotiable, a foundation that keeps you rooted through emotional storms. You didn't abandon your values to keep her close. You didn't trade your peace for chaos. That quiet, unshakable strength spoke louder than any words ever could. On WisdomWavesAura, we're breaking down why your refusal to fight wasn't weakness, it was power. Why choosing your growth, your mission, and your standards didn't push her away, but made her see what she lost. Let's dive in. You didn't chase. That changed everything. She expected the usual, a flurry of messages, a heartfelt plea, a please come back. Instead, you gave her something real or nothing. No reaction, no drama, just stillness. That pause wasn't indifference. It was composure. You didn't act out of fear of losing her. You acted out of respect for yourself. That's when the shift happened. Most women anticipate the pattern. She pulls away, and the man scrambles to pull her back. Texts flood in, trying to convince her to stay. But you broke the mold. You didn't turn your heartbreak into a performance. You embraced the silence. Stoicism reminds us to focus only on what we can control, our actions, our mindset, our values. Her feelings beyond your reach. You understood that. Instead of fighting for her, you fought for something greater, your peace. Picture this. She's scrolling through her phone at night, expecting your name to pop up. Maybe she posts a cryptic story to test you, lingers on your profile, but nothing comes. No message, no view, no attempt to re-enter her orbit. That absence confuses her because you were supposed to break first. Your restraint wasn't spite, it was preservation. You chose silence over struggle, and the power dynamic shifted. You weren't waiting anymore. You were walking forward. She may never admit it, but deep down, she respects that. Your calm forced her to face her choices. You didn't slam the door or beg her to stay. You stood still as she walked away, and that image lingers. Don't underestimate it. You didn't chase, and that changed everything. You showed her, and yourself, that your worth isn't tied to who stays, but how you carry yourself when they leave. That's where real power begins. You let her go without a fight, no begging, no convincing, just letting her walk. That confidence didn't come from ego, but from knowing her choice to leave was hers alone. You weren't going to lose yourself, trying to hold on to someone who'd already let go. That moment spoke louder than any speech or text could. Most expect a reaction, an emotional spiral, a last-ditch effort, a flood of messages to feel needed. But your composure, it was disarming. You didn't react because you didn't need to. You knew who you were before she left, and her departure didn't redefine you. That's what makes her pause. Not immediately, maybe, but when the silence settles, when there's no chase, no drama, just the echo of a man at peace with himself. Epictetus said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." You chose freedom over fear, losing her over losing yourself. That's what she respects, even if she never says it. You didn't negotiate your worth or make her stay, you made peace with her choice. In a world where people chase, the man who stands still becomes unforgettable. The irony? The moment you stopped proving yourself was the moment she started seeing your value, not through noise, but through your calm. That's a strength most men never reach. If you've chosen peace over chasing, share your story in the comments on WisdomWavesAura or type, "Real strength is calm." Let's see how many are walking this path. Your calm was louder than any words. She might have expected anger, a meltdown, chaos. Instead, you gave her composure. No explanations, no attacks, just silence. A stoic man doesn't speak to be heard. His stillness says it all. She thought she'd see the usual midnight calls, a long message trying to fix what's broken, but you surprised her not with words, but with nothing. Not to punish, but because you had nothing to prove. Your calm wasn't passive, it was powerful. It showed you wouldn't trade dignity for reassurance. She felt that shift, even if she didn't show it. When you didn't react as expected, she had to face her choices in the space you created. That's where respect is born, not from chasing, but from mastering your response. Stoicism isn't a tactic, it's a foundation. You didn't suppress your feelings, you mastered them. You let the storm rage inside without letting it spill out. Epictetus taught that it's not what happens to you, but how you react that matters. You chose peace over pride, clarity over chaos. That quiet paradox her leaving, your calm spoke louder than any plea. It said, "I don't chase what walks away, I grow from it." That composure shakes people because most expect chaos. When they create distance, they want validation, control. You gave her none of that, just your discipline, your silence. Now she's not just thinking about what you didn't say. She's remembering how you carried yourself. That's what she respects. You didn't ask for closure, you created it. No, we need to talk text. No chasing answers. No waiting for her to confirm what you already knew. You gave yourself closure. That's a skill most men never learn. You didn't beg for clarity or demand explanations. You moved forward with quiet resolve, saying, even without the full story, I'm at peace. That peace came from you, not her. Stoicism teaches that our strength lies in what we control. Her actions, words, absence, not yours to command. Your response? That's your power. Marcus Aurelius said, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Her silence could have spiraled you, but it became your path back to yourself. While others chased closure, digging through old texts, waiting for relief, you didn't, you rescued yourself. Maybe she ended things vaguely, a slow fade, a cold shift. Most men panic, scrambling for answers. You chose stillness. Your actions reflected self-respect, letting the distance speak for itself. That said, more than any final words could. She respects you now because you didn't hand her the power to validate your worth. You wrote your own ending with composure, and that's unforgettable. You didn't play her games. Maybe she tested you, a subtle post, a cryptic lyric, a photo, meant to spark jealousy. She wanted a reaction, proof she still had you. Most men buy replying, overthinking, chasing. You didn't. You stayed grounded, unflinching. That silence spoke louder than any response. You showed your world doesn't revolve around her validation. You didn't decode mixed signals or play emotional ping-pong. Stoicism teaches that power lies in mastering ourselves, not controlling others. You demonstrated that. She noticed her tactics didn't work, that your value wasn't tied to her attention. That discipline, that self-respect, made you magnetic. A man who doesn't chase, confusion becomes unforgettable. Share your experience on WisdomWavesAura. Have you sidestepped these games? Type, I choose self-respect, and let's keep the conversation going. You walked away without making it a show. No scene, no final speech, just a quiet exit. That restraint commands respect. She expected a confrontation, a plea to win her back. You gave her none of that. No slammed doors, no flood of messages, just calm, clarity, composure. Most men perform, trying to look strong while unraveling. You didn't need to perform. Your value wasn't tied to her staying. Seneca said, sometimes even to live is an act of courage. Walking away without closure or applause, that's courage. You didn't demand understanding or rewrite the ending. You moved with the truth. That's why she respects you. She didn't lose a man fighting for attention. She lost one who didn't need to fight to be valuable. That lingers. You had a life before her, and you went back to it. You didn't collapse or chase her to win. You returned to your foundation, your routine, your mission. The man with ambition and focus. You felt the loss but didn't let it run your life. Marcus Aurelius wrote, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. You controlled your response, building yourself up instead of breaking down. You returned to training, your goals, your purpose, not as distraction, but as a return to center. She expected you to be lost without her, but you showed you were whole. That's when respect kicks in, not from words, but from watching you rise without needing her. On WisdomWavesAura, share, did you shrink after goodbye, or evolve? Type, I chose me. You stayed true to yourself. You didn't drop your standards or twist your personality to keep her. You stood firm, flawed, focused, grounded. In a world where it's easy to lose yourself, you stayed centered. That quiet confidence, staying rooted in your principles, made the difference. You didn't change to please her or chase her approval. You held your line, reminding her what self-respect looks like. That presence lingers long after words fade. You didn't try to be the hero. No grand speeches or last-minute pleas to save the relationship. You let it be, accepting the current with dignity. Real strength isn't forcing an outcome, it's knowing when to step back. You didn't need to be her knight because you were the author of your own story. That self-control, that focus on your purpose, made you unforgettable. She respects you because you didn't need her validation to stand tall. You let time do the talking. No rushing, no panic, just patience. You let silence grow, and in that space, she felt the shift. Days passed, then weeks, and your absence created contrast. Stoicism teaches that time reveals truth. You waited not for her, but for your clarity. While she tested the waters, you stayed steady, grounded in purpose. Your restraint showed your worth doesn't need proving. That's why she respects you, not for winning her back, but for letting go with grace. She respects you now because you chose you. You didn't beg or chase. You redirected that energy inward, back to your goals, your craft, your peace. You stopped needing her attention to feel whole. Epictetus said, no man is free who is not master of himself. By choosing you, you became that man. That's when respect crept in, not when you gave her the world, but when you stopped needing her to be yours. She feels the weight of your absence, the gravity of yourself. On WisdomWavesAura, this is the truth. You didn't earn respect by fighting harder, but by choosing yourself with calm certainty. That's when everything shifted. You showed strength that doesn't beg or explain, the kind Stoics live by. Your peace, your dignity, your direction, they're non-negotiable. Let this sink in. It's not about who stays, but who you are when they leave. Don't chase chaos. Choose your growth, your stillness. If this resonates, like the video on WisdomWavesAura, comment your story, or type, "I choose peace." Check out our other videos to go deeper. Stay grounded, stay focused, stay true to you. Stay true to you.